It's the time for the package from China. Let's go! So what we're going to get is this 4K game pack that you can plug in your HDMI connection, and that's it. Let's say similar like an Chromecast, complete with 2 controllers. I'm very curious, what are we going to get with this? In one of my previous reviews I already spoken about this plug and play device that only could play NES games, but this stick can basically play it all. And with all I mean NES, Super NES, Mega Drive, Arcade, PlayStation 1 and some other systems I will show you later on in the video. But what are we going to get with this next generation of retro plug and play devices that we can buy from AliExpress? Looking at the page, it comes with a CPU that is in dual core Cortex A7, so the specification is just dual core, and that is not powerful enough to run, let's say, Sega Dreamcast, PSP and the later systems. Looking here, we can find even some more information that it runs with RetroArch combination with Linux, but it only has DDR3 256 MB. That's not enough to run all the system perfectly, and I'm guessing Nintendo 64, they say they put it on the box, but I can already tell you it will not run very well on this device. Okay, but let's take a close look. What are we going to get with this kit? It comes in a pretty basic box, and we're going to get 2 controllers and of course the plug and play system itself. It looks exactly like some of these plug and play Android TV boxes I've seen on AliExpress. So I'm guessing this is more like a modified version with completely new software. At the back we're having a USB connection and a micro USB for the power, because this thing needs some juice. Here we have the little dongle that goes in the back that is needed for the controllers. I'm guessing you can also use other controllers. Here a little bit of a rubber compound. Okay, so let's take a close look at the controller. And yeah, they're just the basic UCOM, let's say USB controller that you're going to get from AliExpress with most of these systems. But what I did notice with this controller, it feels slightly different. It feels, I can say, a little bit better when it comes to the quality, especially the D-pad. I'm very pleased with this D-pad simply because it plays very well and all the moves I do come out instantly. That's something that's not very common with these Chinese, let's say, PlayStation 2 knockoff controllers. And at the back we're finding the battery compartment for the 2 AAA batteries. And in the middle, between the joystick here, you can see that we're having the tiny switch for turning it on and off. Okay, and that happens also too. Beneath the plastic, we are going to find the micro USB cable. And with this cable, we need to give the device some juice. Also, we're going to get the HDMI extender. I'm very pleased to see that they're giving us this because, oh man, it isn't really a nightmare putting this thing in your monitor. So I'm thinking, let's try this game stick with and without, and let's see if I can use it in my television. But alright, first let's try to stick it in my HDMI connection because I don't like the extender. But when I try to put it in, you can see something is in the way. So let's zoom in a little bit and you can see that the piece of plastic of my monitor is in the way, so it doesn't fit in my monitor. So that's a little bit of a bummer in my opinion, so we're going to need this extension. Yep, we're going to need to plug it in like this. Otherwise, there is no way of connecting it. So okay, let's try my television and let's see how that works. But looking at behind my television, you can see it covers the USB and the other HDMI port. So this is not really convenient. Yep, we're going to need the extension. That is something that is just inevitable. So that's what we're going to get inside the box, of course. And not to forget, I'm going to show you the toilet paper manual like I always. Yep, the Chinese toilet paper manual. Okay, so here we have the English part. I must say it gives a very good explanation how it works, how you need to navigate the menu. So give them some kudos for that. Glossy toilet paper for the win. Alright, so it's plugged in my television and I did notice that sometimes it's just stuck on the loading screen. I tried the USB power from the television and an external power. Don't know what it is, but sometimes you just need to reboot it twice for getting it to work. But right, so when it's booted up, it looks a little bit similar like a Pandora's box, but it's not exactly like a Pandora box. So to begin with, we're having the left top menu. You can see we're having here category system, history, collection, and with the search option. So with the class, you can see all the systems that are supported, like MAME, Famicom, Game Boy, Game Boy Color. There are quite some different versions, and when choosing, let's say, a certain platform, it loads up all the games from the platform that you just chosen. It's very unique, and I'm pleased to see that they used a search engine inside the software, because this is not something that is very common. Even nowadays, not all Pandora boxes have this, and it's just a nightmare if you're having a shitload of games. You can see there are quite some different Mortal Kombat versions on this dongle, but what I did notice that the names are not always correct, because I tried to boot up some games like Mortal Kombat 1, and at the end I was getting a completely different game. Besides the naming issue, I also found, for example, having 4 the same games, but every time I try to boot up a game, I'm getting the error message. And even if I am finding a game that's called Mortal Kombat 3, and I'm just ending up with the PlayStation version and not the arcade. So also, if you're searching on an arcade game, it's still highly possible that you're not going to get the game that you want. But what I'm pleased about, when you're pressing select and start, you're going to get the quick menu where you can go back to the main menu, disk control, swap controls if needed, and of course we're having a quick load, quick save. And that is pretty cool, because we can save with every game. When loading up, you can see it has a couple of seconds slowdown, but then it works just fine. With the settings, there are not a lot to talk about, just language, key tune settings and all those basic stuff. There is no aspect ratio change. There's not a lot of options here. It's not like in Pandora box with the filters. So what you see is what you're going to get with the settings menu. The naming of the arcade game is just a nightmare. When I'm choosing Street Fighter 3, for example, I'm just going to get Street Fighter 0, completely different game. But the gameplay itself, it runs pretty decent.
Get ready, fighters! Go for it, man!
Next, I just wanted to try a fighting game, also arcade, from Neo Geo, and I noticed that the D-pad works very well, and that is something that is just unique and already mentioned before. And the gameplay, see for yourself. And when it comes to the NES, it runs pretty shitty. It's unbelievable that an 8-bit system doesn't work well on this, or this game at least. So next up we're going to try some Game Boy Advance, and I can already tell you that it suffers from slowdowns and the sound is not like it should be. Okay, I'm going to show you a quick running example, and you can see that it has a lot of frame dips. But with the Mega Drive, you can see the Street of Rage 2 works very well. I didn't hear any weird stuff going on with the soundtracks, and the sound effects are all here. Okay, so with the Super NES part, it's pretty damn sad. You can hear that it is suffering big time. You can hear that it has having big slowdowns with the music and the gameplay. It's quite interesting that it can run PlayStation 1, but this is also a mixed bag. I did notice some slowdowns and problems. Okay, so we have tested a couple of games, different systems on the 4K game stick, but let's take a close look at it and let's play some more arcade. Let's focus on MAME just to see how it's running, because MAME is a very interesting platform, but how are all the games running? So we're going to test some more on MAME.
What the hell is this? Yeah, it doesn't work at all.
Okay, we did a review, we did the MAME testing, but let's take a close look at PlayStation 1 because this is the most demanding system that we can play on the 4K game stick. And I'm just curious how it's going to work out if we're going to test some more games. So that's what we're going to do in this part of the video. So let's go and let's see how PlayStation 1 is running. Okay guys, so this is what you're going to get with the 4K game stick from a friend from China. I must say I am very pleased with the controllers. The controllers are not bad, and for fighting games I had a very nice experience. But when it comes to the emulation, I can't understand how can you mess it up. The 8-bit, 16-bit stuff, Super Famicom, I totally not understand why it's not running perfectly. They didn't configure it, and no, you can't configure it yourself. So what you see is what you're going to get. Maybe in the future they will fix it, but for now this is what you're going to get. Two controllers, a plug and play stick that is not perfect, very flawed in many ways. Well, thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit the little bell, and if you have any questions you can always leave it in the comments. And I will see you in the next video.